and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now and ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me as always is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is a show where you get answers for all your stock related queries. In a short while from now, we'll connect with our experts to help you better and onto the Buy Now, Sell Now lens. Today we're going to be focusing and talking in detail about ITC. But before that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So Cheryl, once again a weak start for the Indian markets, but they are seeing a bit of a recovery from the day's lowest point.
Absolutely, a very good morning to you, Shrishti. And yes, we are back after a day of break. No doubt the money market is shut actually even in today's trading session. But if you look at the benchmark indices, yes, a subdued open coming in for the benchmark. We had a very weak handover coming in from the US markets. Asian markets were also under pressure. And if you look at in comparison to those two markets, Indian market is definitely performing much better. Off the day's lowest point coming in for the benchmark indices, Nifty, however, is below 19,400 as we speak. Talking about the Nifty Bank, tad bit of underperformance coming in from Nifty Bank Index, is trading lower by about 250 points right now. Talking about the list of gainers and the losers in trade, then Infosys is ruling the charts in today's trading session. 1.5% upside uptick coming in for Infosys. This on back of a big order win. About $1.6 billion is the order win amount coming in for Infosys. Apollo Hospitals, Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech and Wipro are the other set of gainers in trade today. While on the losing front is the metal pack that looks a little bit under pressure. Hindalco is the top loser, 2.4% downtick coming in for Hindalco, followed by HDFC Life, Tata Steel, Innocent Bank and GV's Laboratories are the other set of losers in trade today. Let's take a look at what the broader markets are doing at this point in time. Last time I checked, the broader markets are trading with the positive bias, which means outperformance coming in from small cap index. Once again, 0.5% uptick, or rather 0.2% uptick coming in for small cap index in trade today. Rest of the market, metal index is the top sectoral loser. You also have banks that's under pressure, but on the flip side, IT is ruling the charts. Realty as well as PSU banks are holding on to the shade of green in today's trading session. But Shrishti, let's talk about ITC, and that one has actually been in focus for a while now. Finally, the numbers are out. Also, you have a bit more clarity on that hotel business demerger.
Well, yes, absolutely. And since the start of the year, Cheryl, if we see, then ITC has given a return of 35% to its shareholders versus around 6 to 7% of a performance onto the positive side seen by Nifty 50. But going ahead, will this outperformance can continue for ITC or from the FMCG basket as well? Let's have a word coming in from Mr. Nikunj Dalmia, who is the managing editor at ET Now and ET Now Swadesh. Let's listen in to his take.
If you look at cigarette volumes, 7-8%, okay. They're gaining market share from the illicit market. FMCG business, I think they're impressive. When rest of the other companies who have a turnover of 20,000 crore, they've struggled. ITC has reported a margin expansion. See, frankly, if I look at the total top line, the top line was difficult to assume. Why? Because there were ban on agri exports, and it's a judgment call that how much ban would have impacted for the quarter gone by. But that's the reason why the top line, in a sense, may not look all that great. And then there is a hotel demerger ratio. My understanding of the hotel demerger ratio is that it's been done very thoughtfully, and it's been done thoughtfully because in this entire merger, new shares would be issued. If the new shares are being issued, that you have to ensure that because after the issue of the new share, the total underlying value of the ITC hotel does not fall and does not become a penny stock. So there's a technical thought behind it, but it's a thoughtful thing. ITC, I think, has been in performing stock. So it is unlikely to see massive upgrades, but it is a stock where I think the terminal value versus the current market price, the upside is still visible in the medium term. I will not be surprised that post these numbers, the stock starts outperforming the FMCG basket. Look, it's not going to be a multi-bagger like it has been. But if you have to really look at the construct of the FMCG sector, large companies, I'm not talking about small companies here. You got HUL where you know the numbers and margins and market share concerns. The best of the margin expansion is behind us. You come to Nestle. Nestle, for the quarter gone by, volume growth was a concern. Then you come to Marico, not big in terms of size. ITC FMCG business, I think, is growing and the margins are expanding. So within that cohort or within that ghetto of FMCG, I think ITC will outperform, and it has outperformed, continue to outperform. Now, I don't think it has got enough and more valuation to appeal that it will continue to outperform the Nifty now. It has been a Nifty outperformer. I think now it will be an FMCG sector outperformer.
All right, so that's the word coming in from Nikunj Dalmia, who is the managing editor at ET Now as well as ET Now Swadesh, talking about ITC, what he believes of the demerger, as well as where does he see ITC headed from here on. But let's ask the question to our experts as to what should you do if you're already invested in ITC, or you already missed the bus of investing in ITC at lower levels. Should you go ahead and invest right now? We have Kunal Bothra as well as Shahina Mukaddam joining us on the show. A very good morning to you, Shahina, as well as Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And Shahina, finally, we have more clarity on the hotel business demerger. We saw ITC stock actually rally in anticipation of the news. Post the news, we only saw the stock consolidate. Now that we have more clarity on the demerger ratio, by when the company aims to list the hotel business, as well as the numbers, what's your take on ITC now?
Well, ITC remains interesting because valuations, though it the stock has run up quite a bit compared to the overall market in the last 6 months to a year. I think still, given the attractive valuations, sub 30 times current year and just about 24-25 times 1 year forward, it still looks attractive in the FMCG overall pack. Having said that, I think if you see the various segments, just as Nikunj very nicely put it, all the segments that are doing well. FMCG is done pretty well across the board, given the, when in a scenario when other FMCG companies have shown certain pressure. Also, cigarette business remains very resilient. In terms of volumes, there has been growth, and I think going forward, we are likely to see, I don't see too much of a change in terms of increased taxation coming on cigarettes. So I think that business will remain stable and profit making. And finally, the hotels, I think finally, it's a very well thought out strategy. As Nikunj rightly put it, there is going to be a certain stock in the hands of existing shareholders of the hotel business that will be listed, as well as you indirectly hold it through ITC. So you get, the benefit of both. And also it's possible that in the future, ITC, the hotel business, may see strategic investment, growth in business. So I think ITC as a group, as a stock, even currently, though I've been recommending it for quite some time, I personally hold it for quite some time. I would still continue holding. And I think if a long-term investor wants to enter, I think you can still buy it if you're holding for the long term. The dividend returns are also pretty good.
Okay, so that's the fundamental take coming in on ITC. Shahina is holding that in the personal portfolio, and dividend is also a good play when we see ITC from that perspective. But Kunal, coming to you for your take on ITC, because a short while back, the stock was near to that 500 mark, but since then, post the demerger news came in, we have seen the stock coming to 450 odd levels. Do you believe it is a good time to accumulate ITC, or there could be some bit of a further selling pressure in this one?
I think my sense is that the stock should consolidate for a good amount of time from here on, and I think ITC has this very knack history of going into a rally of 1 or 2 years and then going into 1 or 2 years of consolidation post that steep uptrend for the stock. We've seen that happening in 2018 and I think 2015 as well. We've seen the stock going into a 2 years rally and then a couple of years of consolidation. A broad consolidation, of course, but then a couple of years of consolidation. So I would expect something similar from ITC over the next 6 months to 1 year at least, expecting the stock to keep on meandering at this range of say 450 as a pivot point. So maybe 50 points, 60 points plus minus this 450 range is what I would expect ITC to be. So I think from here on, what matters is your time frame, and if you can look to buy on dips, that's a much better strategy for ITC rather than buying the stock upfront and then expecting the stock to deliver returns like what it has done the last 2 years.
So, Kunal, what you're saying that this consolidation for ITC will be similar to that we've seen earlier. At least you're saying 6 to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year. Also, so what if you already invest in the stock? So you should stay patient like the way so people were earlier, not make memes?
See, of course, memes would be made because if the if too many expectations keep on riding the stock and the stock doesn't move an inch, you would probably expect the memes to come out. But then that's part and parcel of stock trading and stock investment. What matters over there is the time horizon, because what I'm trying to indicate is that what has happened in the last 2 years may not get repeated in the next 1 or 2 years for ITC. You would need to be a bit more patient from here on, and you can expect same results, but with a heightened time horizon, maybe 3 years to 4 years plus.
Okay, so let's wait and watch whether we get to see ITC memes or not. But that's the fundamental as well as technical take coming in on ITC. The stock is trading almost flat right now. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break. But don't go anywhere. We'll come right back, and then it's the time to take all your stock-related queries. So stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get to answers for all of your stock-related queries. Remember, viewers, you can connect to us on the WhatsApp number that's be flashing on the top of your screen, and there you go. You can write to us, mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in. If you've already invested in the stock, mention the buy price, the quantity, the time horizon, because in that way, our experts will be able to help you better. Talking about our experts today, we have Kunal Bothra as well as Shahina Muqaddam joining us on the show. Very good. Once again, good morning to both of you all. And Kunal, the first question actually comes to you. Yes, we are back a day after the break, but for you, the occasion was not only about the Independence Day, but your birthday. So how did the birthday celebration go? And also, happy belated birthday. Where is the cake? Where are the samosas?
Thank you so much for that. I'll skip the second part. But it was a good day. Again, a birthday on Independence Day is always a treat because the entire nation celebrates. I look forward to that always, and I don't have to ask for a holiday.
Oh, yes, but I thought you would not come today actually, but I'm very happy to see you. I'm sure the viewers are also happy to see you. So let me take the first query that I've got, and I think that is actually directed to you alone. And this one is coming in from Nirmala, writing to us from Tamil Nadu, and she wants to know the short-term to medium-term outlook on IEX. 1,000 shares is what she purchased 2 years ago at a price of 704 rupees per share. We've seen IEX actually go down in trade due to increased competition fundamentally. But on the charts, do you think that there is any scope of revival for this particular counter? 704 is a buy price.
But I think that's an adjusted price, if I'm not wrong, for IEX, because I think your adjusted price should be around 340, 350 odd mark for IEX. And talking of the charts, I don't see any immediate recovery for the stock price. Actually, what has happened for IEX in the last 1 month, where there was this news flow for the stock and it had fallen down very sharply towards from 150, 155 to I think 120, 125. That has dented the near-term prospects or any kind of recovery for IEX. And this could probably be a fact that for the next 2 quarters at least, the stock would remain into this 125, 130 odd trading range. So I don't have too much of a high expectations for IEX over the very short to medium term, and at least for the remainder part of this year as well as maybe start of 2024, I would expect the stock to languish in this range of 125 to 130.
Okay, so that's the take coming in on IEX. But hey, Kunal, belated birthday wishings to you, and definitely a great day to celebrate your birthday. Everybody must be celebrating the same. But moving on to the next query then, and Shahina, this question is on SW Solar. K. Gopinathan has bought 50 shares from a price of 389 rupees. He's looking to add more at current market price and wants to know what is the outlook for the next 1 to 2 years and if he should make further investments in this one.
I don't track it.
This one, but Kunal, any view on this one?
Well, I think I do like the charts for SW Solar. It's seen a recent recovery. I think the last 1 month has been particularly very good for the stock, where it recovered from sub 300 levels to I think 380, 390. The last I remember, I think I'd seen the stock price on the upside. Now it's come back towards 360 levels. It should be a good time to buy or add the stock further. Because of the last 1 month of up move, I would expect that this could probably be an indication of a major trend reversal or at least a breakout of a major consolidation for SW Solar. So I think if you bought at higher levels, it's actually a good time to try and average if you're a medium-term investor.
All right, this one is coming in from Ghosh Zada. He's writing to us from Delhi. 3,000 shares of Jubilant Pharma as well as Paras Defense is what he's holding in his portfolio. He has profits in both of these counters. Now he wants to know what should he do, continue to stay put with them or look to move on to something else altogether. What's your take on this, Shahina? Paras Defense, Jubilant Pharma in profit in both of these counters. Do you think now is the time to exit?
No, I think you can continue holding. Jubilant Pharma actually has turned into profits if you saw the last quarter numbers. It's a small cap pharma. I mean, moving into mid cap. So I would continue holding Jubilant Pharma. And also, I think the second one was Bharat Dynamics, right? Bharat Defense. Paras Defense. Oh, Paras
yes,
Defense.
Paras Defense.
Yeah, I don't really track very closely, so I'll pass it.
Kunal, any view on Paras Defence on your side? Because given the fact that we've seen a lot of these defence counters rally, Paras Defence also had its role to play in that rally, and and Gojrada is already sitting on a profit. So what should he do?
So, first of all, Paras Defence has been a bit of an underperformer, I think, if I'm not wrong, as compared to most of the other defence names. The previous high for the stock was, I think, at 1200 levels or 1100 mark, and it's significantly below those or off those highs. So, I think in that regards, the stock has underperformed. But yes, there has been a recent recovery for Paras Defence. I think from 450 levels, the stock has come back above that 600 mark, 650 mark, in fact. So, the recent recovery is something which I would probably believe that holds some good stage for the stock, and could see the stock coming back to a 700, 725 mark. But I don't see the stock to come back into that strong league of outperformance and trying to come back to that 1100, 1200 mark, which is the all-time high for Paras Defence. So you should probably look out for just trading bet into the stock, maybe another 10% upside, and that's a good zone where you can look to book out full profits.
Okay, Shahina, coming to you for this query. This one is from Parvinder Singh, and current market rise, he is looking to add 3 counters and wants to know the outlook for the same. He has shares like NHPC, Vedant Fashion as well as Balmain Lorry in mind. So any of the 3 counters that you like at this point in time?
Well, NFPC does look very strong. They have I think from here also, while the stock has given a good performance if you see the last 2 years, but even from here, I think you can still see a good upside of about 10 to 15% in the medium term. That's a stock you can definitely hold. Then Balmer Lorry also, I think from this level, I would say it's a hold from here this level, while the stock has consolidated in the last 2 to 3 years. I think the downside from here is very limited, so he can continue to hold both these stocks.
All right, let's talk about Pharma counter then. This one is coming from Pankaj. He's writing to us from Pune, and Pankaj is holding about 387 shares of Sun Pharma at a price of 745 rupees per share. Kunal, he's saying that the stock has actually made a substantial upside from where he's actually purchased. So now he wants to know what sort of a stop loss should he keep in mind. He's intending to hold Sun Pharma for the next 3 to 4 years.
So difficult, frankly, to place a stop loss because you've managed to ride the tide for Sun Pharma and you've bought at excellent levels on the downside. What matters over there is that how soon can the stock cross over that 1200 mark. I think if I'm not wrong, 2015 high for Sun Pharma was just around that 1195 or 1200 mark. And in this leg of recovery, so this is not a V-shaped recovery, but this is more like a U-shaped recovery for Sun Pharma, where after 7 or 8 years, the stock is coming closer to that 1200 levels. So which means that this could be a durable breakout for the stock price. So as I said, what matters is how fast and how soon can the stock break past about 1200 mark. And I think whenever that 1200 level gets taken out, that's where you can keep a trailing stop loss of 1100 or maybe 1080 and keep on riding the trend on the upside.
Okay, we're moving on. Kunal, the next query is on Polyplex. Narayan from Chennai has bought the shares of Polyplex Corporation from a price of 1636 rupees. At a loss right now, so just wanted to know that is this a good time to average this particular name or should he book losses?
Well, I would not suggest to average the stock. In fact, there was this phase for Polyplex when the indicators for the stock price was extremely oversold and the stock had bounced off from 1200 or 1100 to 1600 mark. But post that, it's made a correction back again. So this is a clear sign of weakness for Polyplex, and this could probably be an indication that maybe this time around the 1100 support could probably be broken for the stock. So I would suggest a sell, but and definitely not to average at current levels.
Okay, Kunal, one more coming your way. This one is coming in from a viewer who's not mentioned his name actually. Let me just check. Okay, this one is from Indu, and she's firstly wishing you belated birthday, and also she's said that she's taken your advice, purchased PFC at around 190 rupees per share, sitting on good profit thanks to you. But now she wants to know, should she go ahead and add some more of PFC in the portfolio? Doesn't make sense, good strategy to do that right now?
So double thanks to you, first of all. On PFC particularly, I would believe that don't look to add further at current levels. You can just hold on to your existing quantity, what you bought sub 200 levels. But then there are many other PSU stocks which have actually shown signs of a breakout. So I think it's best if you can try and broaden or add more PSU stocks, in the kitty to your portfolio, because that would not just give you more exposure towards different sectors, but also try and diversify your portfolio to a larger extent. So I would recommend to hold on to PFC, not to add or average at current levels, but then add or allocate your funds towards other PSU stocks.
Okay, Shahina, the next query is on JK Paper. The stock is actually up 3.5% today, but M. Methivanan has bought 100 shares of JK Papers from a price of 419 rupees. Since the stock is on an up move, but he's still at a loss, so what to do at this point in time?
Well, I think, the numbers were good, and I think he should continue holding because I think from here on he can see a recovery. The demand is coming back, costs are going down, so he should hold.
All right, this one is coming from Geeta from Dubai. Two questions for Kunal. 800 shares of Bectors at 405 rupees per share. Should she go ahead and book profits on this one? The other one is 250 shares of Sona Comstar, 562 rupees per share. Slight loss on this one. Should continue to hold, or what should be the strategy for this? Mrs. Bectors first, Kunal, then Sona Comstar.
Yeah, so Mrs. Bector, I would recommend to book just partial profits over here. So that could probably bring your cost price to, I think, at almost at zero levels for the stock for the remainder of the balance quantity. And I would believe that you should hold on to your, the remainder of the stock price, because I would believe that the stock should have more potential on the upside. The history is limited, but I've been bullish on the stock since the last 5-6 months. I would still be very bullish on the stock even at current levels of 1100 plus where it's trading right now. So would advise that stance. For Sona Comstar, I would suggest that you hold on to the stock even though you are into a partial negative profitability over here. But I would believe that if the stock continues to perform or go into a breakout mode, we can expect 700, 750 as well for Sona Comstar, hopefully in the next 6 months or so. So it's a strong breakout. The stock is taking its own time. Volumes have been quite attractive, but I would believe that you should stay put with the stock.
Okay, stay put with Sona Comstar, but Shahina Girish Iyer from Kerala has bought 15,000 shares of L&T Finance, but his buying price is 138 rupees. The stock has seen a good up move from the lows, but is quite volatile recently. So what to do in this particular name? Any hopes on recovery that 138 mark can be achieved once again, or can he add more at current market price?
No, I don't think so. You should add L&D Finance. It's not been a performing stock, over the last maybe 5 years and odds. And I think there are a lot of restructuring that's going on. There are other finance NBFC stocks, banks also, which are better. So he should, in my view, exit L&D Finance.
All right, this next one that I have is coming in from Vivek, and it looks like Vivek is actually asking for a return gift from you, Kunal, because he wants to know about 2 to 3 small or mid-cap stocks that he can look to invest in the chemical space for a period of 1 to 2 years.
I'm not sure of the small cap or the smaller digit names over here, but from the chemical stocks, I think Tata Chemical is something which I would be extremely bullish on. And the pure reason for that is that the stock has been a huge underperformer in the last 8 or 9 months. I've not seen this kind of a phase happening for Tata Chemicals, where the stock has been a huge underperformer and remained under that 1000 mark for a substantial period of time. And remember, it's a very high beta stock. So whenever the stock gets into a line of a breakout or cover up the underperformance, it could be a very strong breakout for Tata Chemicals. So it's a matter of patience. It's a matter of time. I would suggest that this could be the only stock which I do track very closely. Is something which I would recommend.
Okay, Shahina, the next query is from Pradeep from Kolkata, and he's a senior citizen having a long-term vision to invest in counters, and he already has 20 shares of Radico Khaitan from a price of 810, as well as 20 shares of Bharat Forge from a price of 780 rupees. So your outlook on both of these names?
I think both of them have given a very good return for the, even for the medium term to long term. And I would suggest he continues to hold both, because even from here, I believe that both the stocks look good. So he can continue to hold.
All right, so that's the take coming in on Radico Khaitan. But on that note, we'll actually slip into a break in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking your queries, viewers, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now show, where we get you answers for all your stock related queries, and to guide you better, today we have Kunal as well as Shahina with us onto the show. And Kunal, coming to you for the next query, because Dr. Shyam Dholi wants to know the target for RCF that is possible possible to achieve in the next 6 months? He didn't say that he has this counter in his portfolio. He's just looking out for the outlook for the next 6 months.
So I think 100-110 is a good zone to accumulate RCF because I think that's been a territory where the stock has been consistently taking support. I think it's exactly in between this range of 100 to 110 for the stock price. And on the upside, I don't see a major breakout above that 135 to 140 mark. I think this was the high the stock had made twice, if I'm not wrong, in I think end of 2022. 140 odd levels. So I think that's the best upside which you can expect over the next 6 months. So 100, 110 good territory where you can to accumulate, but then 135 at max could be a best zone where you may look to book our profits.
Okay, this next one is coming from Satya. Satya is writing to us from Muscat, and this one is for you, Shahina. He's holding about 175 shares of Sequent Scientific at the price of around 135 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he should add some more in his portfolio, and also wants to know if this stock is a good stock that he can look to hold for the longer term.
Well, actually, after a huge correction, the stock seems to have stabilized. Numbers also are decent. Valuations are now starting to look a bit more reasonable. So I think he can add. He can add at current levels also, and look for a 10 to 15% upside from the current levels of about 90.
Okay, moving on to the next query then. And Kunal, the next query is on Venus Pipes. Vishwanathan Nair from Kochi wants to know what is the outlook on Venus Pipes, which is inching up day by day despite low volume, and irrespective of the market move. Why is the excitement onto the charts? What are you spotting, as well as what is the outlook going ahead?
Well, I don't track the stock, and as you rightly mentioned that it's a low liquid name, so I don't track the stock, so won't be able to offer any comment.
Okay, we'll give it a skip then. Any view on this one, Shahina? Venus Pipes, do you track this one?
Well, I don't track it, but it's looking like there is some momentum come back to the stock, and raw material price also coming back, coming down for the overall sector. So I think an investor should continue holding based on the limited information I have.
Okay, this one is coming from Sitaram Ganesh. He's writing to us from Chennai. He's holding CESC 560 shares at a price of 83.5 since the year 2021. He's hoping and wanting to know when this particular counter would hit the 90 rupee per share mark. And the other one is Bajaj Auto. What sort of an entry level can he look at for the longer term? That's a minimum 3 to 5 years. Kunal, both of these for you.
So I'll start off with Bajaj Auto. I think from a 4 to 5 year period, if you're looking to buy, then I think 4,400 could actually be a good starting point. 4,570 is where the stock is trading right now. So which means another 4% odd correction, it could come back towards a major support point for itself, and that could be a good starting point for you if you have a longer term time frame. For CESC, I'm not sure the time when the stock would come back towards 90, but then it could be a very tough process or a prolonged process for the stock price, because CESC over the last 2-3 years, as far as I can remember, I think has changed its beta from being a high beta stock. It's gone into the category of extremely low beta for itself. You look at the last 6-8 months of price recovery for the stock price. It's been a very gradual recovery for CESC from even 65 levels to where it's trading right now. So a 20% jump has taken the stock almost 6 to 8 months, and I believe that's a very similar kind of a projection which you can expect for CESC going forward. So I would expect the stock to maybe hit that 90 mark, say in the next 2 years or so.
Okay, moving on to the next then, and Shahina, the next query is on Titagarh Rail Systems. Chandrasekhar has bought 1,230 shares from a price of 663 rupees. All these railway counters are buzzing today. So going ahead, should he stay put or move out of this one?
Well, he should stay put, given a very strong performance in the last couple of, I would say, months, quarters, and the order book also remains strong, so you can continue holding even at current levels.
All right, this one is coming in from Ayush. She wants to know whether it's a good time to accumulate HDFC Bank as well as Bank of Baroda for at least 1 to 2 years. What's your take on this, Shahina? Do you think it makes sense to accumulate both of these counters right now and with the time horizon of about 1 to 2 years?
HDFC Bank in the private sector definitely looks good. The merger benefits will start flowing in over the next 1 to 2 years. And in terms of Bank of Baroda, it's one of the better PSU banks. and it's doing pretty well in terms of numbers. So one can continue holding or buy at every dips and hold for the long term for both.
Okay, Kunal, the next query is from Debashish from Bangkok. He has L&T Finance. We already got the take from Shahina, but just on the charts, if you wish to suggest anything, his buying price is 126 levels, and he also has M&M Finance from a price of 239 rupees. Wants to know, can he accumulate more at this point in time, and if yes, then what would be the right price?
So M&M Finance, I would suggest to accumulate maybe another 5% correction from current levels. So maybe 255 could be actually a good starting point for M&M Finance. That could be a point where maybe the indicators would come back into a deep oversold and the stock may see some stabilization, because this is, if I'm not wrong, this is the 7th consecutive week of selling for M&M Finance. 7th or 8th consecutive week for M&M Finance. So maybe another 1 week of selling, and if in case the stock comes back towards that 255 mark, that could be a starting point where you may look to accumulate further. For L&T Finance, again very similar view. On the long term charts, I'm extremely bullish, but on the short term charts, I would expect maybe another 3 rupees or a 4 rupees drop. So 117 could be a point where you may look to add further for L&T Finance. But both these stocks, they look attractive from a long term place. So you can look to buy on dips at those respective levels which I mentioned.
All right, Kunal, we spoke about ITC at the start of the show, but we have TP Vinod from Salem, and firstly, he's wishing you belated birthday wishes, and not only him, a lot of our viewers, in fact, all of our viewers were writing to us. First, they're wishing you, and then they're giving us their query. What TP Vinod is talking about is he has 2 lots of August ITC at above 470 call option, is what he's saying. At 5.25, he wants to know what should he do, because currently he's in loss. So should he hold or book losses? Any chance of making gains?
First of all, thank you so much everyone for the kind wishes. On ITC now, as I mentioned at the start of the show, that I don't expect any major fireworks in the short term for the stock price, and especially this is the time where one should avoid buying call options or one-sided call options, because these are the times where your expectation is very high, but the stock may not deliver because of the way the stock would inherently is in terms of its nature. So I would believe that it's a good time where you can look to start selling off options if you are if your risk appetite and the risk strategies allow you to do that. But I think for ITC, as I said, that it's a good time where you can look to even exit that 475 call option. I don't see that breakout happening for the stock anytime soon, and especially since it's an August series trade which you've done. I think, I'm not sure the current market price, but I think it's a good time to exit this strategy.
Okay, Shahina, the next query is from Harvinder Arora from Bombay, and he has bought 130 shares of Praj Industries from a price of 385 rupees. Do you suggest to hold for this particular counter or move out and book the profits in this one?
No, you should continue holding. There is a lot happening on, additional capacities for distilleries, and Praj Industries on the forefront of that. It looks good even from current levels. You should hold.
Okay, this next query that we have is from Sagar, and Sagar is celebrating his birthday today. So very happy birthday to you, Sagar. And as his birthday gift, experts, he's asking for any turnaround or multi-bagger stock that he can gift himself today. Kunal, first you go.
Tough one. I thought you'd ask me the second one, but then again, first of all, wishing you a very, very happy birthday, Sagar. In terms of the stock which I would look to suggest from long-term play, I think RBL Bank is something which is popping up on the radar as a big breakout candidate. Yes, the stock has already rallied from 150 to 200 plus where it's trading right now, but I believe that the bigger part of the rally is yet to play out for the stock. So I think this correction which is playing out for RBL Bank should be a very good opportunity where you can look to accumulate for long term.
All right, that is RBL Bank coming in from Kunal. And Shahina, according to you, any turnaround or multi-bagger stock that he can look to invest based on fundamentals for a longer term?
Well, in fact, I will second the RBL Bank recommendation, because even fundamentally it's a strong, good turnaround. So to prevent confusion for the investor, I will second it, and I think he can definitely add that as a turnaround stock.
Okay, so that's a consensus buy coming in from both of our viewers, RBL Bank, onto the technical as well as fundamental. Shaina, the next query is from B. Soumya from Chennai, and he has bought ITD cementation from a price of 189 rupees. Any target price on this one and any advisable holding period for the same? Sitting at a mild profits in this one.
Yeah, he can continue holding while the stock has actually started giving returns. Even from here, I believe if he holds it, he can see a price of about 315, 320 in the medium term. So he should continue holding.
All right, so that's the view coming in on ITD cementation. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking your queries. So viewers, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Let's continue taking your queries. But as we speak, markets are drifting lower. 0.3% downtick coming in for the markets as of now. This one is coming from Matthew, who's writing to us from Trivandrum. Is it the right time to sell Coal India shares? Shahina, do you think so?
Well, Coal India, the government has a major holding in Coal India. So the stock is a very, I would say, you can expect dividends from it, but that is not the best PSU stock to be in. If you want to be in PSU, it's better to be in banking. You have some of the, railway stocks, the finance stocks, there's REC. So, I mean, it's better not to be in Coal India.
Okay, moving on, and Kunal, the next query is from Dr. Subhaya from Tamil Nadu, and he's holding 3 names, and in all of them he's at a loss. Firstly, he has Lux Industries 15 shares bought at a price of 3,873 rupees. He has Root Mobile from a price of 1,912, as well as Naveen Fluoride 15 shares at a price of 4,613 rupees. He wants to know which one amongst them should he just move out and rather make a switch to L&T Tech at this point in time. Your advice?
See, I think out of the 3 names which you mentioned, only Lux Industries is something which I don't see any major recovery on the stock because of the sharp sell-off the stock has shown in 2021-22, good part, and I think unable to lift off into any kind of a major recovery even in the last 4-5 months of this price trend for the index and for the overall markets. That's the only stock which looks a bit tricky in terms of the charts. I would advise to sell. The other 2 names, Root as well as Naveen Fluorine, I think both these stocks, they have potential and they could probably come back to their prime maybe in the next couple of quarters. So I would suggest a hold into both of these names.
Okay, this next query that I have is coming in from Srinath. He's writing to us from Chennai, and Kunal, he's saying that he's bought 200 shares of Adani Green and the buy price was 1,100 rupees per share. Should he exit, hold or average?
Well, I would suggest to exit the stock purely because of the fact that the stock has been a huge underperformer even post the Jan-Feb sell-off for many of the Adani group of stocks. So there are few names, very few names which had recovered 50%, 70%, 80% of the correction these stocks had shown. I think it's best to try and look out for those stocks which have managed to endure those correction and managed to make a comeback for themselves. So if you are looking to park your money into Adani group of stocks, Adani Ports, Ambuja Cement, these are the 2 names which you can look or consider as of now.
Sorry, Kunal, but the next question is specifically for you. Krish is holding 300 shares of Varun Beverages from a price of 725 rupees. What a run-up in this particular name. At this point in time, can he add more with a vision of investment for the next 3 years? What will be your advice?
Well, I would advise to book profits over here because my only sense is that the indicators for the stock on the monthly charts are getting overbought every now and then. So that's the only concern for the stock price, that you, if you stay invested for a longer period of time, you may be left with a bit of a stagnation for the stock price. So I think it's best to try and book out profits if you bought at those 725 levels and the stock is almost at 900 mark.
All right, with that, actually, let's kickstart with the rapid fire then. The first one is coming your way, Kunal. This one is coming in from Sushil Kumar from Trichy, and he's holding Wipro at the price of 383 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should go ahead, book profits right now and re-enter sub 400 levels again.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, Kunal, the next query, the viewer didn't share his name, wants to know, is this a good time to enter JK Bank? The viewer name is Salika.
Well, I'm extremely bullish on the PSU banking stocks and I've been mentioning a buy on JNK Bank, so I would recommend a hold.
Okay, Akhil from Delhi, Kunal, Z as well as NDTV. Both of these counters he has in the portfolio. Z buy price 283, for NDTV is 239. Should he actually hold this for the next 1 year?
NDTV I don't track, but Z definitely a hold from current levels.
Okay, Shaina Dasaradi has 500 shares of West Coast Paper at current market price, which is 526 rupees. Should he continue to hold on?
Yeah, I think he should continue to hold on. the stock is consolidating, but I think raw material prices are coming up, so you should hold.
Okay, Kunal, the next one is actually coming in from one of our viewers. Sorry, this one is for you, Shahina. Balakrishnan is holding 100 shares of Voltas, currently in loss. Makes sense to continue, add more in the portfolio to average it out?
Well, he can average it out because the stock has corrected a lot, from its highs 1,250. He can average and maybe hold it for the medium longer term.
Okay, Kunal V. Mathur is wishing you a belated happy birthday, and he also wants your advice on Electra Green Tech. Is this a good counter to accumulate with a 2 to 3 years time horizon, and any likely target price on the same?
Thank you so much for that. For Electra, I think 1000 levels is a very good level. The stock is very close to that level of support, but I think if it retests those levels, that's a very good level we can to buy.
Shahina, this one is coming from Anant Nayak from Bangalore, and he has Talbros Automotives 30 shares at a price of 416 rupees per share. What should he do with this particular counter? The stock is right now at 1100.
So yeah, it's given a very strong performance last couple of days. But I think you should continue holding even from here. Raw material prices are coming.
Okay, thank you so much, Shahina, as well as Kunal, because in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now, we are completely out of time. So thanks so much for joining us today and helping all our viewers with their stock-related queries. But with this, viewers, it's time to wrap this edition. But before we go, giving a further push to the farm equipment. Segment, that is M&M, has unveiled a new tractor platform, that is Oja, at an event in Cape Town, South Africa, where the company has also launched 2 new tractors. Sumit Chaturvedi caught up with the ED and CEO for Farm and Auto, Rajesh Chichurkar. Take a look at this exclusive chat then.
Oja is something we've been working on since 2018. The origin of Oja is around creating globally ready lightweight tractor platforms. Conventionally our Mahindra platforms are, the capability and strength is that they're actually heavy and they're very robust, very durable, very strong. But in India, what's been happening, and as you see around the world, horticulture is becoming a bigger and bigger segment. Horticulture needs, for vineyards of the kind we are on today, needs a very different application. It needs a lighter weight tractor, which is, more versatile and more flexible. And that's really the attempt of the Oja to create 4 platforms cutting across 20 to 70 horsepower, which very high level of technology, so that they're very globally competitive. And there's a huge opportunity in India too.
What kind of investment has gone into this? And overall, talking about the global expansion, so what all markets you are targeting? Can you tell us about the HP size of the varieties that will come off these tractors, and any timeline by when all these 7 tractors will be launched?
Yeah, so basically, the horsepower, like I said, is 20 to 70 horsepower range, cutting across 4 platforms. So the 4 platforms are subcompact, which is primarily North America. Then there's compact and small utility. That's what we're doing now in India. And then there's large utility, which will come later. The 7 products that we've said right now for India are what we're going to launch starting from end August, September in the Indian market. North America, we're going to go later, start of 2024, by the end of January. ASEAN is a new market we have no presence in, and we want to open that up. It's primarily a lightweight market. Thailand is a huge market, and that again will be towards the middle of 2024.
And can you tell us about the capacity currently you are having, and what kind of additional capacity will be created for Oja, these platform, the tractors also?
Yeah, so we're creating 30,000 units capacity for Oja. This is at our Zahirabad plant, where we already make tractors in Telangana. You had, I think, asked about the investment as well, which I didn't answer. So we are investing 1,200 crores. That's across the 4 platforms. And that includes the manufacturing capacity related to manufacturing of Oja as well, apart from the engineering and design.
And you also getting into new kind of powertrains, diesel, electric. So tell us something about the electric plans of yours. Electric tractors, when can they be reality? What stage are they currently?
So electric tractors are something we're working on, and we will be ready with over the next year or 2. The important thing on electric, though, is it's a very small market right now. So it's something in tractors. Tractor is a prime mover for implements. As you see, we have an implement attached. So, You need the right level of torque for the electric tractor to be effective. So we're still in development stage on that.